Welcome to Stories from the Roof from rooferscoffeeshop.com, where we tell the stories of roofing professionals from around the globe. Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Ellsworth here at rooferscoffeeshop.com, and I'm back again with a Story from the Roof podcast. Super excited to have Mike Lowery and Will Williams here. Hi, gentlemen. How you doing?
Doing well, Megan.
Good. Yourself?
Doing good. Excited to learn about y'all's journeys in the roofing industry and hear about this great project that you worked on in Seattle. So let's dive right in and have each of you just kind of introduce yourselves a little bit. So Mike, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, Mike Lowery with James King Roofing. I'm vice president over here and in the industry about 18 years doing with roofing. So
That's great. So Mike, how did you get into roofing?
Oh, a long while ago. After I got out of the Marine Corps, kind of knew I wanted to be in the trades. Had a young one on the way, so it was just kind of a natural thing. Found a position in roofing, and there it went. Once I got on the roof, I was had to stop. Loved it ever since.
Awesome. Will, how did you get into roofing?
My name is Will Williams, and I am the independent manufacturer's representative for Duro-Last Roofing and owner of an independent manufacturer's representative firm called Edge to Edge Building Envelope Solutions. This is I think my 32nd year, I guess in the roofing industry in some form or fashion. I worked in Alaska during the summers while I was going to college, and in order to get out of the cannery, I got into the construction side of things and raised my hand, and they were doing some roofing projects, and so I got an opportunity to install some roofing up in Alaska, some sheet metal, and and then when I graduated from college, ironically, I got an opportunity to work for a contractor in the sales and estimating side of things, and then opened my own business, ran my own contracting business for a while, and I've been the sales rep for Duro-Last for the last 14 years.
Great. So, Mike, who taught you about roofing?
Luckily, I was surrounded by a lot of quality foremen when it came up, but I took to roofing really quick. Quick learner, like I said, always good with my hands. But really, a lot of credit, I would say, that Tim Gardner, who's the old vice CEO of Snyder Roofing, he put a lot of business traits into me, put a lot of time into me, kind of believed in me, mentored me. And then my partner and owner of James King Roofing, at the same time, Kyle King, he put a lot into me, and really goes a lot into, I took a lot from his service mentality, his customer service mentality. He was always great with it, really promoted it, and knew that's how business should be pushed. So it fell right into me. I was really fortunate to have a lot of really good mentors.
That's great. Well, who taught you about roofing? Any mentors?
Oh, I've been fortunate to be around so many people, this many years in the business. I learned a lot from just some old veterans in the business and some people that were, really willing to share, their knowledge with me. And I just kind of ate that stuff up. I wanted to know as much as I could from, the installation side to the technical side. And so just been super fortunate, especially over the last 14 years where I've been, engaged with people like Mike and Kyle and a lot of consulting mentors in the business as well.
Yeah. We'll just go right into the next question with you, Will. What is the best thing you've ever done for your business or career?
Oh boy. For me personally, I've been heavily engaged in associations in our industry. I'm a former president of the IBEC chapter I've been on the board of the Roofing Contractors Association. I've been a board member for a Building Owner Managers Association. So I would say being engaged in our associations has given me the opportunity to give back to our industry, but also build some really great relationships. And then just some of the education that I've gained from, being involved and immersed in that has been invaluable.
Yeah, that's great. I love the associations, especially the Washington one is so great. And the RCA show that they put on every year is so well done. Mike, what's the best thing you've done for your business or career?
I would say invest in people around me. I was always really strong on investing, kind of building a family with a team that was around me, the guys that I kind of came up with. And doing that, really we built our business on that. We kind of got to handpick all quality roofers and guys that I've known for a long time to come work with us because I invested in them, guys like that are in the field, that are our foreman or lead guys, to guys like our superintendent, Dave McKee, who I've been around roofing with him for many years, or our senior estimator, Charles Avery, who's just, I've been around 18 years, just passing by between different companies or on the roof at the same time, what have you. But it built a family to where it's a big trust. So with me investing in them, they invested in me.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite things about roofing, honestly, is just the camaraderie and family style relationships that you build in this industry. They're so great. They last forever. They're friendships for life. So that's really cool.
They do. You go through a lot. You spend a lot of time together with each other, out on the roof and see a lot of different views and go through a lot. So it's great. That's one of the biggest things in roofing I've always loved.
Yeah. So before we get into the project, I have one last question for you guys. In one word, or, a small sentence, describe the most important trait you think an employee or coworker should have.
Yeah, I couldn't really give one word, but it'd be integrity, loyalty, and work ethic. And those are things that our company was built on, starting all the way back from James King, Kyle King's dad, taking over a company that was in a difficult time, and him having loyal customers and suppliers, and having integrity. They were kind of able to build back a strong company in Snyder Roofing, which kind of carried the same values that James King. Hope to kind of carry that legacy on for James King, Kyle, and myself, and everyone here. So
yeah, love those words. Will, what are some important traits for an employee or coworker?
Yeah, for me, it's I think it's a tie between willingness and consistency. For me, there's no shortcuts. But I believe if you just keep showing up every day and you're willing to grow, those characteristics will pay dividends, personally and professionally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well said. Well said. So you two worked together on the Met Park building in Seattle. What was the scope of that job like? And how did that job kind of come together?
Well, you want to start that off with kind of putting together a bidding process?
Yeah, I'll start it off because I had the easy part. We here in Washington with Duro-Last do a lot of consultant-driven projects, and James King Roofing and Duro-Last have worked together quite well together. So there was a project that we had worked on in the past, and worked with a company by the name of Evolution Architecture, and they trusted both of our companies and felt like our system with James King could be a good solution for this particular type of re-roofing project. And there were some challenges on this job, being a tall building in downtown Seattle with limited access and some design criteria. So we worked with Evolution Architecture on a system that we all thought would work well. There was some height restrictions with some davits, window washing equipment that we had to, find a solution for with some tapered insulations. I think Mike can get into, the scope of, getting this thing waterproof while they're tearing off and, our Pacific Northwest conditions. But it was a re-roof project on a 20-story building in downtown Seattle. And those buildings are, they're known as the Twin Toasters, Met Park East and Met Park West. If you drive by Seattle, you're going to see those buildings, off the freeway, every time you go through Seattle. So I kind of turn it over to Mike in terms of, some of the challenges, they had, because again, they had the difficult part.
Yeah. Mike, what was the scope of that job like?
Well, like we'll say, we're right off I-5 corridor, so you can see it driving through Seattle. So a little bit more high winds. We were in a wintertime condition, so having to tear off, not let alone just maneuver through downtown, right? So getting our materials hand packed up through elevators, up to the roof, then tear off in our Pacific Northwest conditions, right? So it's tear off, install a vapor barrier right away, make sure you're watertight, and then work through all these great details of having will and evolution architecture. There's several challenging details there that luckily we all got to come together on, really work out, a nice finished product on. But definitely, again, those challenges of just having rain delays or having snow delays, and successfully completing a project like that in smaller portions, taking it up, putting it back down in the winter with no leaks is a pretty big thing, So it makes it difficult.
Yeah, especially when the building is being compared to a giant toaster. Customer service with an emphasis on custom. Duro-Last specializes in building roofs and relationships. For more than 45 years, Duro-Last has been 100% committed to forming personal relationships with contractors. They are here, there, or anywhere to help with the tools you need to succeed. Duro-Last's dedicated quality assurance department and technical support staff are always available to provide support and answer questions, because you deserve one-on-one service for one-of-a-kind roofs. Call 800-248-0280 or visit Duro-Last.com to learn more today. So you guys chose the gray Duro-Last 60 mil membrane for this job. What makes this product the right product for this building?
Yeah, the 60 mil Duro-Last is a great product. Gray still has some reflectivity components, but it's also something that doesn't have as much glare or impose some of that reflectivity like a white membrane would to the surrounding buildings. Met Park is surrounded by some other high rises, and the city of Seattle has grown with a lot of buildings recently, and so they wanted a membrane that wasn't as reflective white, and the Duro-Last gray membrane just fit that profile well. Duro-Last has some great polymers on top and bottom with a heavy reinforcement, and it's got great weldability, and it's just a good performing product for this type of application.
Yeah, Mike, how was it putting the product up there and putting it on? I'm sure you had a big part, obviously, of choosing that product as well.
Yeah. Well, one, that gray, I think, is just aesthetically pleasing. Like you said, well, not as harsh on the eyes. I really like the look of how it came out. Getting those rolls to the roof were were definitely a joy, to say the least. I think some of my guys had some choice words at times, but it was successful, right? We went through a good bidding process. We're able to, with the management team, Evolution and Will, we're able to walk the property, walk the building, find clear access points, have full understanding of what our capabilities were there so that we could pull off a successful project. So it made it easier having all those components in place and having everyone organized rather than, not, and you just kind of having to fight all ends and odds of, maybe tenants being disruptive and not wanting this and kind of having some pushback, where everybody was really on board and everything was well understood ahead of time. So made it much easier.
Yeah, awesome. So because, the building is surrounded by high rises and it has rounded corners, it's a giant toaster. How did that come into play when you were estimating this job? What were you kind of thinking about when you were estimating it?
Yeah, again, high winds being a high rise right next to the I-5. So securing material down, knowing that we're coming into wintertime and starting in a wintertime project, so making sure materials get secured, dried, loading the right amounts at the right time and downloading at the right time. And then, having the right details. There was components that, like a 12 gauge aluminum metal coping that was kind of interfaced into the whole siding. It was a really odd design. So the thought came up with, just actually integrating that whole interior panel and coping in, so that there's less risk of dropping any coping or any parts and pieces, taking this thing off. So we ended up putting a cover board on, securing it, and then wrapping up and over the parapet wall, using clad metal as a clip, fastened over the top of it, so we didn't have to, have anything over the edge, and then pull the coping over using that clad metal. So the whole wall and the whole roofing system was all one, integrated in. So turned out really nice. Really good detail came out of it with low risk.
That's great. Well, if you see the pictures online of the building now, it looks so good. There's a couple articles that have been written about it. So you guys are basically famous, and congratulations on a job well done. It looks great. Looks better than a giant toaster. So
good. Thank you.
Great job. So, thanks for sharing all those logistics. I'm sure that was a really big undertaking of a job. So kind of going off of that, when you think about your job, what makes you smile?
Yeah, it's the people around me and seeing a finished product. You get to enjoy things like this. This is a really cool opportunity, and again, getting to see our clients' faces at the end of a successful project and knowing that they entrusted a project with us, a large investment of theirs, and they got to, get a good quality product at the end. And then, I get to come in every day to a good team. Work with people like Will every day, which makes things a lot easier.
Yeah. Will, what makes you smile?
Yeah, ditto. I mean, just the opportunity to be of service, I think, is, we're in a service business, and we provide a service, which I think is pretty important, and that's the first thing, and just the ability to get to work with people that we truly, genuinely appreciate, and who are on the same page. Mike is out there to be of service and to provide great performing roof systems, and we're just lucky to partner with their company.
Yeah, I think Will kind of hit a nail on the head right there. We're a service business, and I think oftentimes that gets forgotten, and we really all promote that. So it's good working with Will, being very service minded as we are as well. that's what you got to get. You get a lot of joy out of that, you know.
Yeah. Finding the right people that share the same values. Well, thank you both so much for chatting with me today. I have one last question, and that is, how long have you been following Roofer's Coffee Shop, and what's your favorite thing about RCS?
I've known about Roofer's Coffee Shop for a long time, but just recently got to start listening to the podcast. And it's definitely something I'll keep up. I like it. There's a lot of good information, good quality. Speakers on there that you can just pull little bits out of. So I think the podcast is probably the coolest part of it all. Something I can just listen to on the road and get some good information out of.
Yay! Now you're on one. You've made it. Will, how about you?
Yeah. It's been quite a while now. A contractor turned me on to it, and I just love the service that it provides to our industry. The information, the education, just the overall support you all have. Putting us on the map. I mean, the roofing industry sometimes gets a bad rap, but it's been really good to me and my family over the years. And so I just appreciate what you guys do.
That's awesome. Well, we love to be of service to the people who are of service to everyone else. So I'm glad to be here. And this has been great. Thank you both so much for a great conversation. I hope to see the building in person one day. But for now, the pictures will have to do.
Well, thank you, Maggie, for having us.
Yes. Thank you. All right. And for everyone out there listening, thanks for listening. We'll be back with more stories from the roof this month and all the months to come. Thanks for listening to Stories from the Roof from rooferscoffeeshop.com. Make sure to subscribe and leave a review.